I was stirring cream into my third coffee of the morning when he walked in. Not just walked, swaggered, like he owned the damn building. Maybe he thought he did. Cairo Cole, the CEO's golden boy, fresh out of business school and already handed the keys to the kingdom. His eyes locked onto me like I was a bug under a microscope. Nova, he said, my name dripping with fake charm. My office, now, 11 years. 11 years. I'd spent building the client relations team from the ground up. I'd negotiated contracts worth millions, trained every junior who walked through those doors, and even worked through my own damn divorce because this company came first. And now I got summoned like a misbehaving intern. I followed him, my heels clicking a steady rhythm against the tile, refusing to let my hands shake. His office smelled like expensive cologne and entitlement. He didn't sit, didn't offer me a chair, just leaned against his desk, arms crossed, and dropped the bomb. You're done, I blinked. Excuse me? Effective immediately. He flicked a pen between his fingers, bored. We're restructuring. Your role's redundant. The word echoed in my skull. I wanted to scream, to throw my coffee in his smug face, but I didn't. I smiled. Sweet. Poisonous. Understood. The walk back to my desk was a blur. My team's eyes followed me, confused, worried. I gave them nothing, just packed my things in silence, my fingers lingering on the framed photo of me and Mr. Cole at the company's 10th anniversary, back when loyalty meant something. By the time I hit the parking garage, the shock had worn off, replaced by something colder. Why now? We were days away from closing the Delacroix deal. Contract I'd spent 6 months securing. Cairo hadn't even read the terms. I knew because I'd seen his untouched folder on his desk. My phone buzzed as I slid into my car. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Then I recognized the area code. Corporate. I answered. Nova. Mr. Cole's voice was gravel. What the hell just happened? I exhaled. Your son fired me. A beat of silence. Then, low and dangerous. Did he read your contract? I froze. Because, he continued, the Delacroix deal has a clause. You're the only authorized signatory. Without you, it's worthless. So pieces clicked. Cairo hadn't just fired me. He'd torpedoed his own company. And I was going to let him burn. The call ended with Mr. Cole's sharp inhale, the sound of a man realizing his empire was crumbling. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. The silence was deafening. Then my phone lit up again. Cairo's number. I let it ring. Voicemail. Nova. There's been a misunderstanding. Call me back. It's urgent. Urgent. The word tasted bitter. Not sorry. Not I messed up. Just urgent. Like I was a problem to be managed. I dropped my phone into the passenger seat and started the engine. Let him sweat. By the time I got home, my inbox was flooded. HR, legal, even the CFO. I ignored them all. But when my old colleague Sailor called, I picked up. You need to see this, she hissed. Cairo just got ambushed in the boardroom. Mr. Cole slammed the Delacroix contract on the table and asked one question. Did you read this before firing Nova? My pulse jumped. And he tried to bluff. Said something about streamlining. Operations, she snorted. Then Mr. Cole flipped to your clause. The one that says Delacroix won't recognize anyone else as lead negotiator. Cairo's face. Nova, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. A slow smile spread across my face. Checkmate. At 11:03 a.m., Cairo called again. This time, I answered. Nova. His voice was strained. We need you back. Today. I sipped my coffee. Ice cold now. Why? A pause, then grudging. The Delacroix team won't meet without you. I almost laughed. Of course they wouldn't. I'd spent months earning their trust, speaking French with their CEO, memorizing their supply chain, even learning which of their execs hated cilantro. Cairo had no clue. I'll consider it, I said finally. But I want a meeting with Mr. Cole first. Alone. I hung up before he could argue. By noon, I was back in the office, but this time, I walked through the front lobby like a VIP. Heads turned. Whispers followed. The receptionist scrambled to escort me to Mr. Cole's office, her voice shaky. He's expecting you. The door swung open before I could knock. Mr. Cole looked older, the lines on his face deeper. Nova, he said quietly. I owe you an apology. I stepped inside. No, you owe me the truth. He exhaled. I gave Cairo too much power too fast. I thought he'd rise to the occasion. Instead, he burned the place down. His eyes met mine. I'm offering you your job back, with full control over Delacroix, and a seat at the leadership table. I studied him. The regret was real, but so was the desperation. One condition, I said. Cairo stays out of my way, permanently. Mr. Cole hesitated, just for a second, then nodded. Outside the window, the city glittered. Somewhere in that skyline, Cairo was realizing his mistake, and I was just getting started. The Delacroix meeting was set for 2 p.m. sharp. I arrived an hour early, reviewing every clause, every concession we'd negotiated. The boardroom smelled of lemon polish and tension. Through the glass walls, I saw Cairo pacing like a caged animal, his usual smirk replaced by a sheen of sweat. Mr. Cole intercepted him in the hallway. Their argument was too muffled to hear, but I didn't need words. The way Cairo's shoulders hunched, the way Mr. Cole jabbed a finger toward the exit, told me everything. At 1:55 p.m., the Delacroix team arrived. Their CEO, Monsieur Laurent, broke into a rare smile when he saw me. Nova, he said, kissing both my cheeks. I was beginning to think you'd abandoned us. Never. I replied in flawless French. His eyes lit up, another point in my favor. Cairo tried to slink into the meeting, but Mr. Cole blocked him with a single look. The door clicked shut behind them, sealing me in with the only people who mattered. 2 hours later, we shook hands on a deal sweeter than the original terms, thanks to a last-minute concession I'd suggested. As Laurent left, he murmured, "Tell your new CEO he's lucky to have you." The moment the door closed, the office erupted. Sailor burst in, grinning. You should have seen Cairo's face when the news hit the group chat. He threw his phone at a wall, but my victory lap was cut short by an email notification. Subject: urgent. Expense discrepancy. From. Accounting attached was a flagged report for my Kingswell trip last month. Unauthorized charges. Except I'd never filed it. I pulled up the original. The dates were wrong. The amounts inflated. And the signature? A blurry forgery of my initials. Sailor's smile faded as she read over my shoulder. That's not your handwriting. No, but I knew whose it was. Across the office, Cairo's assistant, a mousy girl named Tinsley, was watching me. The second our eyes met, she looked away, guilt flashing across her face. I smiled. Cairo wanted to play dirty? Fine. I forwarded the email to Mr. Cole with one line. Audit the last 6 months of my expense reports. Then I grabbed my coat. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. The next morning, the office buzzed with hushed tension. I made sure to arrive early, planting myself at my desk with an extra-large coffee. By 8:15 a.m., the whispers started. Accounting had locked Tinsley in a conference room for 2 hours last night. By 9 a.m., Mr. Cole's assistant summoned me upstairs. His office smelled like whiskey and regret. "Sit," he said, sliding a file across the desk. Inside were dozens of falsified documents, expense reports, client notes, even a fabricated complaint to HR, all bearing my forged signature. "Cairo?" I asked, already knowing the answer. Mr. Cole rubbed his temples. His assistant confessed, under pressure. Said he promised her a promotion if she handled you. He looked exhausted. "Nova, I need you to understand, this goes beyond office politics. He's sabotaging the company." I studied the papers. The forgeries were sloppy, desperate, but one document stood out. A deleted Slack message where Cairo told Tinsley, "Make it look like she's stealing." I tapped the printout. "You realize this is fraud, right? Not just corporate bullshit. Actual fraud." The silence stretched. Then Mr. Cole did something unexpected. He laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "My son's an idiot." "Worse," I corrected. "He's arrogant." He met my gaze. "What do you want to do?" I didn't hesitate. Full audit. Every file, every email, and I want Cairo's system access revoked today. By noon, IT had locked Cairo out of the servers. By 3:00 p.m., legal was reviewing the forged documents. And at 4:37 p.m., as I proofed the Delacroix press release, Cairo stormed into my office. His tie was loose, his eyes bloodshot. "You bitch," he hissed. "You're ruining me." I didn't stand, didn't raise my voice. Just swiveled my monitor to show him the Slack logs. "No, Cairo, you did that yourself." For a second, I thought he might lunge at me. Then his phone buzzed. A text from Mr. Cole. "My office. Now." Cairo paled. As he stumbled out, Sailor appeared in the doorway, holding 2 coffees. She nodded at the empty hall. "He's done, isn't he?" I took the coffee. "Not yet, but soon, very soon." The email came at 6:02 p.m. while I was packing up for the night. Subject: immediate action required. From legal and compliance attached was a termination notice. Cairo's. Effective immediately. No severance. No cushy exit package. Just a cold corporate kiss-off citing gross misconduct. Sailor whistled as she read over my shoulder. Damn, they didn't even let him clean out his desk. I clicked through the rest of the email. Buried in the legalese was one delicious detail. All falsified documents will be retained for potential legal action. My phone buzzed. "Mr. Cole, board meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. You're presenting the Delacroix deal. No please, no questions, just a statement of fact." I smiled. The next morning, I wore my sharpest blazer and walked into the boardroom like I owned it. The directors, all gray-haired sharks in $5,000 suits, watched as I laid out the Delacroix numbers. Final terms. Secure a 23% profit margin, I said, clicking to the next slide, with an option to expand into 3 new markets. One director leaned forward. "How'd you manage the Belgium tariff issue?" I didn't blink. "Convinced Laurent to reroute through Rotterdam. Added 2 days to shipping, but saved $400K annually." Mr. Cole hid a smile behind his coffee cup. When I finished, the lead director, a woman with ice blue eyes, nodded. "Impressive. Shame we almost lost this." The room went still. Then Mr. Cole cleared his throat. "Which brings us to new leadership appointments." He slid a folder down the table. "Effective today, Nova Harris is promoted to VP of Client Strategy, reporting directly to me. No discussion. No vote, just power, handed to me like a baton." Cairo's name wasn't mentioned once, but as I left the boardroom, I glimpsed him through the lobby windows, storming across the parking lot, tossing his key card into a trash can. Sailor nudged me. "Think he'll sue?" I watched his silhouette shrink in the distance. With what money? Daddy just cut him off. The elevator doors closed, and just like that, he was gone. 3 weeks later, the office had settled into a new rhythm. My rhythm. I restructured client teams, reinstated 2 analysts Cairo had pushed out, and killed the toxic rank-stacking policy he'd implemented. The changes were small but deliberate, like pulling weeds before they could take root. And the email arrived. Subject: confidential, urgent, from Tinsley W. The body was a single line. "Cairo's been meeting with our competitors. He has documents." I stared at the screen. "Documents? plural, client lists, contract terms, the Delacroix financials. Sailor read it over my shoulder and let out a low whistle. That's not just petty revenge. That's corporate espionage. I forwarded it to Mr. Cole with 2 added words. Handle this? His reply took 17 minutes. A lifetime in CEO terms. Already done. Security flagged his badge accessing files after hours. Legal is drafting the injunction now. I should have felt satisfied, vindicated, but something nagged at me, the way Tinsley had reached out, scared, guilty. I replied to her directly. Coffee tomorrow, 8 a.m., you pick the place. The cafe was a dingy spot 2 blocks from headquarters, the kind of place no one from the office would frequent. Tinsley sat hunched in a corner booth, her nails chipped from nervous chewing. He threatened me, she blurted before I could sit down, said he'd tell everyone I helped him if I didn't keep quiet. I slid a coffee toward her. Why come to me now? Her hands shook around the cup. Because what he's doing, it's not just screwing you over, it's screwing everyone. She pulled a thumb drive from her pocket. I copied these before I quit yesterday. I plugged it into my phone. Spreadsheets, email chains, even photos of whiteboards from strategy meetings, all stamped with our logo, all dated within the last week. I looked up. Where is he taking these? Tinsley's voice dropped to a whisper. Venture Tech. Their CEO offered him a VP role, contingent on bringing assets. I nearly laughed. Venture Tech, our biggest rival. And the one company Mr. Cole truly hated. This wasn't just betrayal, it was war. And Cairo had just handed me the ammunition. I waited until noon to storm into Mr. Cole's office, timing it perfectly so the entire leadership team would see me slam the thumb drive on his desk. Your son's selling trade secrets to Venture Tech, I said loud enough to carry through the open war. The color drained from his face as he scanned the files. When he finally spoke, his voice was terrifyingly calm. Security. Now, within the hour, corporate lawyers were drafting a lawsuit so vicious it made the legal team wince. By 3 p.m., a judge had signed an emergency injunction freezing Cairo's accounts. At 4:30, 2 police detectives arrived to take statements. Through the glass walls of the conference room, I watched Mr. Cole rub his wedding ring, the same nervous habit he'd had when firing his own brother years ago. History was repeating itself, just with higher stakes. Sailor appeared beside me with 2 coffees. He's really going to let them arrest his son? I took the cup. No, and I was right. At 6:17 p.m., Mr. Cole emerged from his office looking 20 years older. Venture Tech backed out, he said hoarsely. Cairo's on a plane to Singapore. No prosecution, no scandal. Just another rich boy escaping consequences. I should have been furious. But as I packed up my desk, I realized I'd won. The company was mine now. The respect, the power, the freedom to rebuild things right. My phone buzzed with a new email. Subject: VP offer. Venture Tech. Body. Let's discuss how we value talent like yours. I deleted it without replying. The next morning, I arrived early to find a new nameplate on my door. Nova Harris, VP of Client Strategy. Mr. Cole was waiting. Inside with 2 whiskeys, he pushed one toward me. No more family in the business. I clinked his glass. Just professionals. As I sat in my new office watching the sunrise, I thought about Cairo, probably nursing his wounded ego in some tropical bar. He'd underestimated me at every turn, never realizing the truth. This was never about revenge. It was about what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. And I was just getting started.